The games that started, of course, on Friday. Nottingham Forest, actually, the only team to win away from home this weekend. That was in the East Midlands derby at Leicester. Then that dramatic late win for Brentford and a narrow one for Manchester City on Saturday. Earlier today, Chelsea back to winning ways, beating Newcastle by 2-1. Newcastle now 5 without a win in the Premier League. Crystal Palace off and running at the 9th attempt. They've won for the first time this season, beating Spurs 1-0. Manchester United beaten for the 4th time already this season with a very late controversial West Ham penalty at the London Stadium. And twice behind, but Liverpool take a point with a 2-2 draw away at Arsenal. So as I say, Crystal Palace got their first win of the season at the bottom, and it lifted them out of the drop zone. So they're now 2 clear of the bottom 3, Ipswich, Wolves and Southampton, who are the 3 clubs yet to record a victory this season. Manchester United stay on 11 points in 14th position. So at the top, Manchester City stay there. It is the champions by a point from Liverpool, and they are 4 clear of Arsenal and Aston Villa, locked on 18 points. As I say, Chelsea up to 5th on 17.
They've got the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta.
Mikel, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I imagine there's a degree of disappointment at not winning that game.
Yeah, 100%. Because, understanding the context that we are in at the moment and what we are through, the way we played, especially the first half, and the fact that we have conceded anything to actually concede 2 goals, lose the game, is tough.
If you flip it into the positive, though, you must be so proud of some of those performances tonight. Martinelli, Saka, the effort, the change in the defence, and the way everybody stood up and really delivered some good performances.
I had no doubt. I said a few days before, we will be flying on Sunday, and that was my feeling, that the team was flying. It was full of energy, confidence, determination. We played against the actual best team in the Premier League, at least in the terms of points, and we were better than them, and we should have won the game. But as well, we have to fault ourselves for 2 things. One, not playing enough in the second half when we had to, and then when we have situations that the way we concede the second goal, obviously you are in trouble against Liverpool.
Yeah, and you went into the game obviously without William Saliba. It was well documented. You've talked about that. Gabriel came off injured. Is there any news of his condition?
We don't know yet, but obviously we had a lot of injuries because we lost Ricky, we lost Tomiyasu, we lost Willy, but Jurgen was injured. He trained half a day and then he played. Honestly, the spirit of the team, the determination they have is tremendous. I'm so proud of that, but very disappointed because I think today we deserve that extra thing to win the game.
Yeah, and is there anything you can any learning you can take away from that last 20 minutes? You just say that last third of the game. Is there something that you as a coach will analyze? I know it's so straight after the game, but you'll say if we'd done a little bit more of this or stopped doing a little bit of that, that would have made the difference. I couldn't see it in the game particularly.
Well, especially don't allow them to run in open spaces, and they've done it in 2 ways. One, when you don't finish the actions, especially when you are running, we attract them, we play vertical, we have to finish the actions, we don't. And the other one, when we started to play a little bit more direct, and then they have spaces to run behind you. But we can always learn.
OK, well, Mikel, thank you for coming out and talking so frankly, because I know there is a degree of disappointment. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Mikel Arteta joining us here pitchside after a 2-2 draw between Arsenal. Bukayo, thank you for being patient with us there. You've had to be patient the last couple of weeks because of injury. How good did it feel to be back today?
Yeah, I hate missing games, and for me it was tough to watch from the side, but I did everything to come back for this game, and I felt good out there, so it was nice to be back.
Yeah. Did you always have this game penciled in as the one in which you would return?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And it took you 8.5 minutes, didn't it, to make the impact?
And being captain today as well, you played a real captain's role, I felt. You really wanted to assert yourself in that match.
Thank you. No, I try to do my best, whether I'm captain or not, to do what my job is in this team. And yeah, it's just a shame we didn't get the win. It's disappointing.
Yeah, of course. But did you, given the injuries and the build-up to the game, did you feel, if you take the lateness of Liverpool's goal, the actual performance was an excellent performance through the team, wasn't it?
No, it was a good performance, but not for 90 minutes. I feel most of the game, especially the first half, we didn't give them anything. They only scored through a set piece, but I don't remember them creating much other than that. But after that, in second half, we sunk back and they started to win the duels, and they started to get momentum. So we're a bit disappointed there, but yeah, for us, we have to do better.
Yeah, you reached a landmark today, 50 Premier League goals, far younger than most players to do it at 23. I wonder, in the whirlwind of your career and all you've achieved, do you ever get the chance to sit back and think, crikey, I'm doing quite well here?
No, I don't. I think I need to give myself a pat on the shoulder sometimes, but I'm not like this. I just want more and more and more, and I'm just going to keep pushing until the day I hang my boots up.
And in terms of Arsenal as a whole, Lee Dixon is part of our broadcast crew, an Arsenal great of yesteryear. He's of the opinion that there is something extra about Arsenal this year which could make that fractional difference to carry you over the line first. Is that the feeling in the camp as well?
Yeah, we believe. We're just going to come out here in every game and try to win each game. That's all we can do. And yeah, I don't know what he means by extra. It could mean anything, but you know, we have that belief in the camp, and yeah, we're just going to keep pushing.
Just briefly talk us through that goal. It was a wonderful pass by Ben White, but your movement, it was quite straightforward, your movement, wasn't it? You didn't really go towards the ball, and you went in, and then just get through. We've got a clip of it here, but just that bit of great skill.
Yeah, first of all, 100%, it was a fantastic pass from Ben. And yeah, as soon as I got in the box, I tried to come back on my left foot, and you know, I just felt to go near post high, and yeah, it came off nice.
And that check back with your left foot, how soon had you made your mind up you were going to do that? Once you knew where Andy Robertson was in terms of his position?
Yeah, he's pretty quick, and he was recovering quite quick as well. So you know, I just went against his momentum, and yeah, the ball fell for me. Goal. Yeah, thank you.
It was. So now Newcastle, then it's Inter, then it's Chelsea, and these big games just keep on
Preston,
coming.
don't forget Preston.
Yeah. With respects to Preston and Deepdale, do you get the night off, or are you expecting to play in that as well?
That's the boss's decision, but if I have to play, I'm more than happy to. You know, Carabao Cup is a trophy that I want to win. I haven't won yet, so if I have to play, I'll do my best.
Well, we as neutrals greatly enjoyed today's game and your contribution to it. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There he is, Arne Slot, the Liverpool manager, has just joined Graham and John.
Yeah, Arne Slot has just come into shot after what, in the end, was a fairly satisfactory result for you, I imagine, was it?
If you would have asked me at half-time that we would left this place with a draw, I think I would have been very, very happy. After the game, you always feel a bit like, could we have done more? But for me, a draw felt, for me, and that's what you're asking, as a fair result.
Yes.
And do you feel, did Arsenal give you a few surprises? I mean, their intensity was another level, I thought, for much of that game.
For the first half, I agree with you. I think the second half, our intensity was from another level. But the first half was very difficult for us. Can they surprise you? Actually, they can, because they can play in so many different formations, setups, that you always have to wonder where did they come up with. And now they played with a false nine, with the midfielders really wide. So I didn't feel we had complete control in the first half. I was really pleased with us scoring a set piece over here. The downside to that was that we also conceded one, but I think Arsenal deserved to be 2-1 up at half-time.
And the wide men, I thought, of Arsenal were causing a lot of problems. It forced Andy Robertson deep and Trent deep as well, didn't it, in that first half?
First goal was an example of this, I think, where you saw the quality of Saka. Maybe we had to do better, but sometimes you have to give credits to these special wingers that are playing these games, and I think Saka played, especially first half, an outstanding game. Then to be 2-1 down, although I didn't think they had so many other opportunities, but they were by far the better team in the first half. Then I wouldn't say it's a surprise for me, because I know these players, but with one day less to recover than Arsenal, with having played an away leg, and then to show up the second half the way we did, with the intensity we played with, that was very pleasing to see.
Yeah. Was that the toughest test so far in your time?
I thought last week was a real tough test for us as well, and if you go to Old Trafford, it's always a tough test also, because we won that game with 3-0, but and we deserved to win that game, but it wasn't a 3-0 win game, if you know what I mean. So that was also a tough test, and last week it was as well, but we've played Wolves away, and we were just able to beat them. So many games have been tough for us, but this one definitely also.
And do you feel, how are you getting to know the players now? Because you're in, you know, and you've got regular training with them. Are you sort of really feeling you're getting to understand the individuals and what they're capable of, as well as then the collective group?
Yeah, I think if you come into this role, you know already quite a lot what you can expect in terms of quality. Then when you start to work with them, you see it on a daily basis, and they play the games. So then you see the quality. What still is something you don't know yet is how is their mentality. Okay, you know what they did last season many times, but last week we had to defend the lead 2-1 up, and I saw great mentality in that aspect. And now we were 2-1 down in a hostile environment like this, because I think the fans of Arsenal were really into the game. Put a lot of pressure on every decision, and then to show up the way we did the second half with that mentality to find an extra gear and to make it really difficult for Arsenal was for me something I've seen a lot, but not in being 2-1 down in a difficult away game as this, and then to react the way we did.
Yeah. Help us, Arne, because in our trade we like to have timescales, we like to make judgments. You would hate it as a football manager that we try and do that, but that's our game. We're wondering when it's fair to start making a judgment on your version of Liverpool. In your mind, when is it fair for those of us on the outside to draw an opinion? How much evidence do we need before we get to that stage?
Well, I think everybody is allowed to have an opinion after one game, 2 games after pre-season, so that is also what makes this game so great. That's also why we make some money out of it. There's so many pundits in this country.
All of us make money.
Not all of you make money. Okay. Jamie make the most. Jamie makes the most.
Without question.
Without a question. Yeah. But he's also the best pundit. Isn't
He told you that, did he?
Yeah. No, I think he is. He's mostly very positive about us. No. I said before this week, it is still possible to judge us, although we haven't had that much of a difficult schedule. Again, playing Old Trafford away is also very difficult. Now, after this week, it would be quite simple to say, okay, you had a win and a draw. Now, all of a sudden, you're great. Still, the upcoming 2 weeks are, before the international break, are going to be really tough. And we had some injuries today, like Arsenal. So many obstacles to take, but a very good start to the season.
Well, we've been kind to you today on NBC Across America. Okay. I presume Jamie Carragher's been really kind to you today.
then you have to raise his salary. No,
we really don't, Arne.
I don't think you need
That's on record.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you very much for coming to join us. Let me remove that from you. So there we have it. We have really spent the day with Graham perched on this fence that we identified before the game. We're going to remove some of his splinters, but gallingly, Rebecca, he was right. Thank you, Rebecca. Yes, Virgil van Dijk, very kind to join us so quickly after the final whistle of what, for us as neutrals, was a terrific game to watch. But I wonder, from your point of view, is a point the height of your ambition as you got towards the last quarter of an hour and Arsenal were leading?
I think maybe the point is a fair result, I think. Obviously, we kept pushing in the second half, scoring in my eyes the well-deserved equaliser. And I think there were no massive chances in the end, but obviously we tried to push and we tried to score. But I think it's a fair result in the end.
Yeah. How difficult is it to play against Arsenal? They work really hard on set pieces. I saw you getting blocked off a few times at set pieces. Dealing with that's tough in itself. We all know players do it. They seem to do it particularly well, but they had some intensity about their game today. You had to weather quite a lot of pressure during periods of the match.
Yeah, but I think that's not the issue. I think we all know if you come here, it's always a difficult place to come, because obviously they have a lot of quality on the pitch. But like you said, obviously the set piece as well, they work a lot on it. But we all obviously analyze it, and we have to fight and we have to try and not concede. But they have to do that as well. And obviously you see both score off of set pieces, and could have changed the game, won the game. But in the end, it's the point that we move.
Yeah, we're 9 games into the season, and of course all of us on the outside looking in are trying to detect what's new, what's different about Arne Slot's version of Liverpool. But for you from the inside, we're 9 games in. Is it very different, slightly different? How does it feel?
It feels good. Listen, I think...
But there are degrees of good, aren't there? There are degrees of comfort.
Listen, I feel like it's a work in progress. I think we can still dominate games better because we have the quality and we show it in games, but we want to do it for the whole game. And we play in arguably the best league in the world, so the opponents are very difficult. But we want to be consistent in trying to do that. And obviously he has his philosophy, has his demands from us in what we do in possession, without possession. So it's a learning curve, but the results have been good. In the end of the day, football is a result business, and we have to keep doing that, but also want to know and want to keep improving as well. So that's what we try to achieve.
I mean, he talks about courage there, Mikel, and yeah, I totally agree. The fact that they need to start playing with that sort of freedom, that courage. But I wouldn't be too disheartened right now. They've played a lot of these teams right now, particularly away from home, that are challenging or spoken about challenging
City,
for the title.
Villa and Spurs already.
There we go. So big teams already in a difficult moment with a lot of players missing. Today, yes, they had some players missing, but they still had a very strong team. And I think, like he says, he's just disappointed that they just want a little bit more. But look, I wouldn't be wary right now. They're sitting quite happily in third. And it's one of those where it's all positive, I feel, with obviously the players coming back. That's always good signs, Bukayo. And that's what Arsenal are about right now.
Could you actually spin this, Roy? Yes, there have been problems keeping 11 players on the field. 3 times that's happened. 3 times they dropped points before this afternoon. Could you spin it as a positive that, given the stature of some of the players they're missing, like Ødegaard, their most creative player, to be where they are through this period is actually a positive?
Yeah, well, there is positives. There's certainly... they're not going to panic. They'll be disappointed with some of the results, and obviously that was self-inflicted with some of the sending-offs, etc. But I'm still looking at some of their performances and the positions they've got themselves in, and that was today. So whatever circumstances, they end up 2-1 up at home to Liverpool, and Liverpool didn't look at their very, very best. There was an element of calmness to Liverpool, I suppose. So I'm looking at Arsenal, a bit like when to City recently, and I'm not saying these games are easy, far from it, but it's not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be easy to win big titles. But I still look at this mentality of this Arsenal group today, when you're watching them live and they're 2-1 up, and whatever the circumstances, injuries, but can you go on and not take silly gambles, but you're the home team, take the initiative. And I always feel with this Arsenal, particularly today, when we're 2-1 up, yeah, we'll step back. And I really worry for the Arsenal, forget about the players, the medical staff. Because every time an Arsenal player's tackled, they're going down, they're rolling around, they're time wasting. And they're trying to kill the game. I get about that, but you're the home team. You're 2-1 up. Use the initiative. Use the fans behind you, because the fans are doing their best to get them over the line today. And it's as if I just worry about that belief and that mentality. Where you're going, do they really have that belief and conviction that they're a top team and they can really challenge Man City? I still don't see it. I think they've made great progress, and it seems really, I suppose, critical, but you have to look at it when you compare them to Man City, where Man City have got to the last few years.
But could they actually look back at the end of the season, at this period, and say, this is what took us to the title, because of the way we managed to navigate a difficult time in the season?
Of course they can, and that remains to be seen. But I think the interesting thing when you were watching Arsenal, and it's not just this season, I've been thinking about this for a long time now, probably going back to this fixture last season, I think it was end of January, early February. And because Mikel Arteta worked with Pep Guardiola, we're almost thinking this is a Pep Guardiola disciple. And if you look at the best, probably the 2 most successful managers, let's say, the last 10, 15 years, you've got Pep Guardiola here with a certain style of football, and you've got Jose Mourinho, almost equally as successful at the other end. Mikel Arteta is slowly morphing into a Jose Mourinho type of manager, and no one really thought that would happen. And I just think it's really interesting how they've got there. So you see today, 2-1 up, pressing Liverpool, on top of Liverpool, playing really well. They retreat second half. Now, I know they had a couple of injuries at the back, but they've still got the midfield players playing. They've still got some attacking players playing who you think, can you get on the ball? Can you go forward and try and sort of maybe take the sting out of the pressure you're under? So there's a...
So you think that instinct, Jamie, is protecting what you have
that's
rather
coming from the manager,
trying to win it?
It happens too often now. We see it with 10 men. I get what happened at City. I thought what they did at City was brilliant. I commentating on the game, enjoyed watching it. But what they did here against Brighton, what they were doing against Bournemouth last week, the top teams I've seen before down with 10 men, I go back to my own experience as well. But yeah, you're under pressure, but you relieve it, you keep the ball a bit more, you're still a threat going forward. And it feels very, when they were down to 10 men, like what Jose was like in the Nou Camp with Inter Milan. And again, this is not a criticism, this is an observation of where Arsenal are as a team. And it's going back almost 12 months. And maybe it's the fact that Mikel Arteta looks at his attacking players and thinks, we're not as good as Man City. And they're not. We've got to win the league by being the best team defensively, and that's what they were last season. And I think possibly they still are right now. They just lost goals because they've been down to 10 men in certain games. But this idea that Arsenal play great football, he's a Pep Guardiola man. He's not. You see that, as Roy said, with players going down. The secrecy before the game about who was fit, who was not fit. It's all out of the Jose Mourinho playbook.
Does it matter the style that you use, Theo? if you are going to go and win the title? Does style matter in terms of delivering trophies, the biggest trophies, ending this long wait for a Premier League title?
I mean, and you hit the nail on the head there. The long wait, the Arsenal fans that have waited for something, and if they're going to win it in the Jose Mourinho way, he was very successful. I think they will take that. I really genuinely think they will. But like I say, don't shy away from what you're good at as well. But of course, it's all about the trophies in the end of it. You'll be remembered for that. Jose Mourinho is obviously saying very successful, winning in a certain way of style. Why could you not do both? I think they can do both. They showed it in the first half and the second half at times. It's just, I feel like right now, Arsenal are going for a sticky patch, but still getting results. Liverpool, we're talking about them challenging, and it's all sort of roses with Slot right now. But they didn't win here today. They still managed to get a result, against a depleted Arsenal team towards the back of the end of the game. So for me, I still feel like it's a positive sort of outlet for Arsenal. Right?
But when you're trying to win the title from Man City, though, it's talking about styles, and I've played for managers, and I think all the great managers are gamblers. They do go and want to win games, and they'll sacrifice losing the odd game. But I'm seeing with this Arsenal group, there's still the element of even everyone sitting there going, no, we'll take like the draw today. Instead of sitting there going, we were 2-1 up. And then when they got it back 2-2, we should have try and get the momentum back in the game and try and win the game. There's an element of, well, put it this way, too many draws won't win you any title.
Do you think
you're comparing them to you're comparing to a brilliant Man City team.
Yeah, but do you think they can sacrifice playing against a Liverpool team? And maybe you can sacrifice playing against a Brighton. Obviously, they're down to 10 men, but a Liverpool team who are expected to be there at the end of the season, I'm not quite sure.
But I'm not being critical of it. I'm just saying this idea that he's all of like Pep Guardiola. He's not, because, you know, we have seen, Roy's right, you think of sort of Pep Guardiola right now, you think of Jurgen Klopp, you think of Sir Alex Ferguson, but Jose Mourinho won a title. Claudio Ranieri won a title by being tough to beat. So it's not a criticism, it's just this is what they are as a team. Let's not kid ourselves that this is the most exciting team that we've ever seen in our lives. This is a team who want to keep clean sheets, back themselves to keep clean sheets, score from set pieces. I mean, they're one of the top teams who actually see go long a lot. And again, I'm not against that. It's refreshing that not every team plays the same way. But when I'm watching Arsenal at times, Ray, he's not scared to just go long and not take any chances around the back.
But again, not criticising the style. If they're sat in today and they were saying, listen, we're up against it, we got injured, and they win the game 2-1, then you have to give them praise. They got over the line. Man City a few weeks ago, they got loads of praise, but they're 2-1 up and that. Yeah. But they end up not getting the 3 points. And
so what I'm saying is, Roy, I think the probably question is, do you think they can win the league playing like that?
No, well, the evidence is just they can't, because they don't seem to be good enough to. You have to win these type of games, especially when you're in front. Again, there's games again with the Man City. Every game obviously is different, but when you go 2-1 up against Man City and you're down to 10 men, I get all that. Don't get me wrong, but you still, and this is a compliment to Arsenal. People think you're critical of them, but you're going, because I think you can be better than that. This idea of sitting back in and we're watching the game live here, and I see players going down. I see them really, and you're 2-1 up at home. You're going, no, you've got the momentum. You go and get the third goal against Liverpool. We know Liverpool are no mugs, obviously. But it's almost gone, we'll really slow the game down, and you know what, we'll hand the initiative back to Liverpool. And when you've got people like Trent in possession and Salah, trust me, they will punish you.
It felt like second half that Arsenal had a man sent off. That's what it felt like. We said that earlier when we were watching the game. Liverpool was so like, I don't think Liverpool were amazing creating chances, by the way. But to allow another team, you know, you are still Arsenal at home, 2-1 in front, you've been brilliant first half. You know Liverpool are going to come back in the game. That happens in all the games. But to allow them to be so dominant, I'd be frustrated as an Arsenal supporter watching that second half.
Do you feel like Arsenal can drop any more points?
Yeah, listen, there's a long way to go. Of course, they can drop a few more points, but 4 points is manageable. Man City.
They lost 5 and drew 5 last season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you put pressure on yourself, you fall behind Man City at any time.
I sense that you think you've got Manchester City here still a bit on a pedestal compared to the rest.
Yeah, at this moment in time. Yeah.
So, which of these two would you think finish above the other? Based on the evidence of the first 9 games of this season.
I want to say Liverpool. But there's still obviously question marks over Liverpool. I give Liverpool loads of praise last year, and they ran out of steam with 5-6 games to go. So obviously there's big challenges for Liverpool ahead. But with that maybe control, with that maybe calmness to their group of players, maybe that will help them in the long run in terms of injuries and the way they look after themselves and deal with the extra games might help them. But I've been wrong before. But at this moment in time, I would say I would have Liverpool over Arsenal.
Theo?
Interesting. I mean, like I said at the start of the show, Liverpool have only faced United and obviously Arsenal today.
Chelsea,
I feel
Leipzig, AC Milan, Arsenal
again. It was their first proper test. Chelsea were not classed to being winning the league at the start of the year, considering they finished 6th last year. Maybe they're spoken about this year.
Have Liverpool got to play Man City away for everyone to say that they've played someone? Is that what we're waiting for? When is the date of that game?
That's what we're waiting for.
Couple of weeks, 1st of December.
You praised Arsenal while ago for having some tough games by beating Spurs. Do you know what I mean? Is that, are you putting that in the bracket of a tough game?
I am, definitely, particularly away from home. I think Arsenal at this moment in time have played teams away from home particularly and still managed to get a result. And that's the difference, I say, compared to Liverpool at this moment.
But you have to play half your games away from home, don't you? Your league.
And then I believe how it works is you also play them at home.
Yes, another 4 goals today in the second highest scoring Premier League fixture over the years. Arsenal twice leading 2-2. It finished. All the reaction from both dressing rooms, incidentally, on the way. But let's look at the way Arsenal took the lead with Bukayo Saka, because you mentioned the importance of him before the game. 4 in 3 he's got against Liverpool now.
Yeah, well, you look at the amount of time that Ben White's got with Saka, the amount of space that's in behind him, you'd have to worry for Andy Robertson in this situation. I thought he got too tight there, knowing that Saka would want to come back on his left foot, even though we know he can go both ways. But when you look at the amount of space there is, I'm very surprised Liverpool gave Ben White that much time. But then it's Robertson getting that tight there. But he's done brilliantly because you can't stop him from coming inside there. And he's put us in the lead, which we needed. He's brilliant. He's brilliant again.
Robertson a torrid first half, actually.
Yeah, he did. Andy Robertson had a poor game, really, and Bukayo Saka was the reason for it. It was a lovely first goal, and it came out of nothing. It was far too easy to concede. When you're away from home, you should be difficult to break down, and a simple 50-yard ball over the top, culminating in a wonderful goal for Saka, put Liverpool, down straight away, and it shows you though that his form is excellent for Arsenal. Really important play.
And there you go, 50 Premier League goals, and you can see some of the names he's with in terms of the youngest to it. And from a wide player coming into the team, that's impressive figures. At
he's an excellent player. I love his attitude. I think he's missed the last 2 games before today, and that's the first time in 5 years that he's missed back-to-back games, which when you consider who he is and how many times he gets kicked, you can't help but just like his attitude and like everything about him. Got great ability, and it was a great goal. And that first half in particular showed how much he means to the Arsenal team, and that they're not quite the same without him. But that's understandable because he's got that much ability.
And he is so durable, isn't he? As Alan says, that's some record, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. When you consider he's been in the side since he's just 17. And he's been not only for Arsenal but England as well, playing very, very regularly and playing at a high standard. This is why I find it's really unfair on him when people are constantly comparing him to other people and other players who come along and they've been doing their stuff for 18 months and he's been doing it for coming on 5 years now. And he's been consistent with what he's doing. And I'm just pleased that he can come into a game like this and at levels like he has and just continue to show what he's capable of doing consistently.
As you say, Liverpool weren't at their very best today, but they managed goals in both halves. And the first one was well worked from a set play from there.
Yeah, it was. Trent Alexander-Arnold, nice whip ball in. I mean, it's Luis Diaz, really. His movements is... You see he's causing chaos on the touch. The fact that he darts in front of Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz has to be more aware. He cannot allow him to get in there. And as soon as he gets a flick onto it, it's always going to cause chaos. And Van Dijk was the one who was alive to it, closely marked by Partey. And it's a goal from nothing, really, but the set pieces really count in these big games, don't they? Small margins and any advantage you can take care of, and that was the same there today.
Yeah, great ball in, great movement, but from a defensive point of view, we talk about Arsenal, how sort of good they are at attacking set pieces. That will be something they'll look back on with regret. I mean, particularly Kai Havertz, because he just didn't open his body up. He allowed Diaz to get in front of him. If you're on the half turn, and then he doesn't get in front of you, block him, you stop him. Yeah. That's part of your job at that near post. Do not let any opposition player in front of you, because that's what will happen.
Yeah. When the way he starts just in front of the near post. So even more, you'd think, I'm going to make sure my arms, get my arm somewhere out. It's not something that I had to do, but I've seen people do it on that near post. You get your arm and you're off. So as if somebody does come, you can at least ease them out of the way. Because when you look at the flight it came in on that, all he needed was step out another yard. He probably heads that away. So, like you say, I think I was right. You probably look back at that one and you think, again, you know, that could have been avoided. And that's the margins.
Got a game on our hands here at the Emirates. Arsenal lead 2-1. Bukayo Saka straight back into the starting lineup and straight back into goals, Theo.
Straight back in, but what I love about the modern day winger is he likes to do everything. And when there's time and space, I mean, I taught Bukayo that going in behind, but the finish is great. Robertson needs to slow himself down, but the finish, we've got to talk about the finish here. He nutmegs him, and he knows Robertson, he's in danger. And it's an incredible finish. But this is how important he is for this team. But
Gary said about Virgil van Dijk getting over. Jamie, what's your thought on this?
I think it's more about sprinting back. He ambles back. Listen, you can always look at someone's phone. Is he sprinting there? No. He has a look over his shoulder. You see where the other attackers are rather than helping his mates. But it's an unbelievable goal from Saka. That's all about Saka more than the mistake.
Liverpool straight back into it. The set piece again hurting Arsenal.
Yeah, well, Havertz gets done at the near post like he did last week at Bournemouth. And Liverpool tried this set piece very early on when Trent Alexander-Arnold had a free kick in the first minute. And Luis Diaz got a cross Havertz. So it's obviously a plan. And Virgil van Dijk just puts it into the empty net. But Havertz normally does a brilliant job at that near post for Arsenal. But it's 2 weeks running now, he's been done.
I want to see a bit of a communication from Martinelli there, just to let him know that a player's coming. That's one thing I'd say. Take a bit of responsibility and let him know that your man's coming.
It's a good finish, though. It comes on him quick.
Yeah, it comes on strength, isn't it, as well, to hold off Partey. But then we did say before the game, I think it was you that said, Roy, that set pieces could be absolutely critical here. And
yeah, of course,
Liverpool had their warning from this wide free kick here from Declan Rice. Should actually Mourinho do better with this?
Yeah, of course, he should certainly score that or hit the target. And they had their warning, Liverpool, and they're giving away some daft free kicks. And then when Rice gets another opportunity to put in,
this one 5 yards closest to the goal.
Unbelievable! What a delivery! And do you know what, Liverpool, we can be critical. It was more giving away the daft free kick, but what a delivery! I know they was looking at offside. That delivery is absolutely fantastic. Amazing.
It is a brilliant goal again, but Liverpool have been like schoolboys in that first half, giving fouls away in that area. They've allowed Declan Rice to get his range about 4 times on that side. They've got a problem on this side. We can see that it's onside.
We can't forget that. It took long enough.
No, it did. We got there, but Liverpool have got to sort something out on the left. Either you bring Gomez on at left back, or you bring Szoboszlai, or you bring Curtis Jones over on this side. McAllister being on a yellow card on this left side as well. They've got a big problem on this side.
We talk about football intelligence. Liverpool have lacked it. The amount of free kicks and daft free kicks doesn't. You're going to give fouls away, but they're so sloppy and they do lack that bit of intensity. And Arsenal are in front and deservingly so.
Having fought
by 2 goals to 1 then in this big game at the Emirates Stadium. We talked about the importance of Bukayo Saka being back in the Arsenal side, and he's back with a bang to give them.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's given Andy Robertson a torrid time. I remember in his early days, Andy Robertson was very good on him, but obviously he's stronger, he's quicker, he's more experienced, and right from the off, obviously him and Ben White have got a great relationship. You know, obviously their eyes must have met, and then, you know, the ball, too much time, no one's closing Ben White down, and this is a problem for him. Once this goes behind, you know he wants to come back inside. I think Andy's too tight. He's overshot it, you know, and Bukayo Saka, you know he wants to come back in on that left foot, but, you know, I think the ball from Ben White's fantastic. But here, I think that Andy Robertson's got to do it. He's got too tight there. There's not much he could do, but I think he can't make it as easy as this. And, you know, bam, it's the perfect start. Perfect start.
Yeah, they've been distinctly second best, Liverpool. I've actually been a little disappointed in them. Some of the players haven't got involved in the game. I thought Diaz should do more against Partey. Mo Salah's hardly had a kick of the ball. You know, the midfield is a little tiny bit passive. They've gone backwards a lot. I mean, if this is all because of the Arsenal pressure, of course. But they've been, Liverpool have been second best today in that first half. They need an improvement in the second half.
And as you can see, in terms of the youngest of 50 Premier League goals, Bukayo Saka is in very good company there with some of those names. Robbie Fowler holding the record by 4 days. I should point out, Alan played in the old First Division before the Premier League came up, before he started growling at me where you were.
I wasn't saying a word.
That's okay. Right.
Football didn't exist, you see.
You know, what have you made of it?
I think Arsenal have been the better team. They deserve to be in front. They've certainly looked more threatening in forward positions. And with Saka, I mean, we talked of his importance before the game. That 45 minutes has just highlighted how good he is, if anyone didn't know. Right, he's correct. He's given Andy Robertson a horrible time. Every time he's got the ball, you can just hear the excitement. You can feel his confidence and his belief that he's got in it. He knows he's got Andy Robertson on toast.
They did get level through a set piece, a well-worked set piece from Liverpool's
Yes, it was, yeah. Just a simple ball in from Trent Alexander-Arnold, in a great movement from Diaz, poor from Havertz. You know, Havertz's job is marshalling that front post. You do not let anybody get in front of you. And Diaz waltzes in there actually really, really easily, gets a nice flick on, and it's just instinct, isn't it? Van Dijk in front of Partey just to get diverted goal bounce.
I think when you look at that one, I think Kai will be very disappointed with that, because when you look how it's not coming high, it's coming with good pace, but if he steps forward, one step forward, he probably doesn't get in front of him, Diaz, but Diaz has to get credit for making the move and getting the touch just when he needed to.
You said Mikel Moreno needed to give you something today.
Yeah.
He has. He's given you his first goal for the club.
Yeah, I thought he was unlucky earlier on. He got one, he got his legs mixed up with the first one, but this ball in from Declan is, it's just go and put your head on that, really. If you look at it, he's literally, all he's doing is just stretching out because the ball is so perfect. You know what I mean? He's got himself in a position. I always worry when they come from an offside position, but, obviously why they went for 2 minutes to look at it. But at the same time, the ball is so good, he's literally called him on to head that. So it's a brilliant goal, and they deserve that, Steve.
Superb. I mean, it's just crying out for someone to go and get on the end of it. He's not trying to pick him out specifically, he's just putting it into such a dangerous area where he's saying to someone, get on the end of it, and it was an incredible ball and a great header.
Yep, 27th set play goal for Arsenal since the start of last season. Right, what will Arne Slot be saying now? What do you want to see from Liverpool in this second half?
They need to be quicker, they need to move the ball quicker, they have to be more positive. As I said, I thought they went backwards a lot of the time today. They took the easy pass. They didn't want to run forward. They didn't want to pass the ball forward in case they lost it. And they need the bigger players to step it. I think Szoboszlai will come on soon enough if he's not coming on already. I think there'll be changes if Liverpool don't pick it up, because they are distinctly second best, as I said. Arsenal are the better team, and they look the more progressive team.
Got to get their forward players into the game. They've not really had a kick either.
No.
Three of them,
yeah.
Diaz did well for the corner when he flicks it on, but other than that, they've not had anyone run at the defender, not got anyone go past defenders. They've not really asked a question of their marker yet.